Georgia Stanway, what a delight. Have you peeled yourself off the roof yet?
It's pretty mad. I feel like the last 24 hours have been a bit of a whirlwind. But I think we've just got to enjoy the moment, but at the same time remember that we've actually not done anything yet. We've still got so far to go. We've achieved something which is obviously record-breaking, history-making, but at the same time it's not what we want to be. We want to get up there and we want to try and win the big thing.
You sound like you've been taking interview lessons from Serena Wiedmann.
I had a talk on the way over here, you see.
I bet you did. Straight back the lot. And I understand what that's like, because the expectations were high already. Then you go and put in a statement performance like that, it's going to be even more, and you know there's more attention on you. But it is quite important to stay grounded, because the knockouts are where it really turns on.
Yeah, for sure. I think after the first game we were very critical of ourselves. We kind of weren't really at the level that we wanted to be at, and we kind of pushed in the training in the week, and we kind of worked on some things. We got a lot of criticism about not being clinical enough, and obviously yesterday we turned that one around, and are we being too clinical now? And it's like one of them where you can't find that common ground. But no, it's the moments like that you've got to enjoy, but there'll also be moments within that game that we can improve on. Like, we conceded corners, we conceded crosses into the box. How many times did Mary have to touch the ball? Were we in positions like stuff like that in the moment you don't realise, but looking back it's like there's moments of that game where we need to fix it as well. So yeah, it's just more about using both the games to obviously focus on the next one, and at the same time considering the fact that we're already through to the quarterfinals is obviously a real bonus as well.
When you first stepped up to take that penalty, first of all, was there a discussion about who was going to take it, or was it always your penalty?
So we already know going into the game if something is to happen, who's going to take it, and if the one's not in the right frame of mind or has got a knock or whatever, who the number 2 is going to be. So yeah, I was fortunate to be up there, and off the back of the Switzerland one, I was lucky enough to keep my space. But yeah, we've done a lot of work in training and in the pre-camps leading up to this on the importance of penalties. I don't think you realise how many penalties are actually scored in a tournament, the importance of them. So yeah, we kind of learnt a lot about that and learnt different techniques and what kind of works for you and what can allow you to obviously execute.
So what works for you to make you execute the way you did last night? Because what exactly goes through your mind when there's 30,000 people waiting to see what you're going to do from 6 yards out?
I think all you're conscious of is the noise gets louder and louder and louder. You don't know what they're saying or what's being said. You can just hear it. But I think for me, it's just massively on staying in the zone. Being focused on what I've got to do, trust my process. Something that we've been working on for the past few years is knowing how I execute it, knowing that, and obviously the girls around me being able to protect me, making sure that nobody's around me, making sure that I'm in the right frame of mind. Just making sure that there's no distractions and that we can kind of get everything right in place.
And do you have a routine in your head? Is there something that you kind of set yourself and get ready for it?
Yeah, I think everyone does. There's always a certain amount of steps you take, or whether you work off the goalkeeper's movement or whether you have a set way of taking it or the contact in which you touch the ball as well. So yeah, everyone will have a specific routine and everybody will go through that. But yeah, that's just part of the penalty process, really.
So you smack in that penalty, everybody is jubilant, and after that opening 10 minutes, relieved as well, because you were under quite a bit of pressure in the opening stages of the game. And then Lauren Hemp scores a bundled in goal, but a beautiful cross from Beth Mead, which I think actually was going in itself anyway. And then you've got that huge wait with VAR, which must have been really stressful for you all.
Yeah, we kind of didn't really know. I don't think anybody knew. If you actually look at it back, she's so onside. But in the moment, we was all just a bit like getting ready to go back into shape, getting ready to set up for the goal kick. And I think once we'd finally knew, it was like, oh God, like 16 minutes in and we're 2-0 up. Like, this is going to be a long 70 minutes. 'Cause it's one of them where you score early and then you're like on the cosh then, and you're like, taking on the pressure or you're taking on their attacks and you're having to deal with it. But yeah, like you said, them first 10 minutes, going back to what I was saying earlier, they're 10 minutes that we need to fix. For the first 5 minutes, the ball didn't touch the ground. So yeah, we need to get the ball on the floor quicker, get control quicker, and yeah, just play our game.
Were there any, and be honest with me, were there any moments on the pitch, because I've told you what we were saying in the press box, which I obviously can't use that language, but we were all looking around at each other going, what is going on? Were you as players on the pitch going, can you quite believe this?
Yeah, there was, to be honest, there was. Especially when we went in at half time. We kind of just looked at each other and was a bit like, well, this wasn't in the plan. We didn't prepare for this. But no, it was, I think the message at half time were we don't concede. That was the biggest point. Doesn't matter how many we score, but we don't concede. And obviously we managed to do that. But yeah, it was kind of one of them where you're like giving people the side eye because you don't want to say anything. But yeah, at the same time, Norway are a very, very good side. You can't take that away from them. As individuals, very, very good. They all play at a very top level. And as a team, they're very good. And I feel like it was just one of them games where we happen to be at our best and they happen to be at their worst. And sometimes that happens in football. But yeah, looking back, looking forward, I don't think there'll ever be a result like that again. I think it's just one of them freak things that happen. But yeah, we can enjoy the moment now and just know that we've still got quite a long way to go.
That can't be the peak though. Surely you've got more.
You'll have to wait and see.
Let's talk about Beth Mead, because you obviously won Player of the Match in the opening game. Beth, quite rightly, after the hat-trick given it in last night's game. She looks like a player possessed at the moment and with a massive point to prove. And she is just phenomenal. That second goal in particular, were you almost kind of watching going, oh, what is she doing here?
Yeah, I remember running up to her and being like, wow, Beth, that was so naughty. Like, you can't do that. But no, I feel like Beth's playing with so much confidence, and I think that just shows off the back of the season that she's had with Arsenal. She was unbelievable for Arsenal this year. And obviously coming into the Euros, it was time for her to shine. I think obviously she had the disappointment with the Olympics. But I think that kind of gave her that fire in the belly to be like, this is where I belong. And yeah, I thought she was unbelievable yesterday. I think the crosses that she put in the box in that first half, we could have easily been 9-10-0 up if somebody was on the end of them. I think we had a few go all the way through and miss a few players. But yeah, she's playing with so much confidence and so much freedom, and I'm actually really enjoying playing on that right hand side. I feel like me, Beth, Lucy and Kira as well, when she comes over, I feel like we've got like a really good connection. So yeah, it's just about building that and making sure that us three particularly are on the same page and we can kind of continue to get the best out of each other.
You can tell that it just gels and works, and it's a delight to watch. And when you see a team goal in particular, it's, you know, I know I'm a journalist, but I'm also a fan as well. And I have to say, I was on my feet on a couple of occasions, more than a couple of occasions. I also heard River Deep Mountain High. Obviously saw you got dragged into anti-doping. Please tell me you didn't miss all the karaoke and the singing. Tell me what the dressing room was like.
Yeah, I literally didn't go in the dressing room, unfortunately. I tried to stay on the pitch as long as I could. I was fortunate enough to have some of my family in the stands as well, so I was kind of speaking to them from a distance. But yeah, just enjoyed the lap around the pitch, being able to connect and enjoy that moment with the fans. And then obviously the music's always good at the end, so having a little song and a dance. But yeah, I was dragged into doping. Unfortunately, I was there for a few hours because I didn't need the toilet. I know, the perks of the job.
Dehydrated after the game.
The perks of the job. But yeah, I just kind of was focused on my recovery from there, making sure that I was getting things on board, getting back to the hotel as quickly as possible, getting my head down for a few hours, and then this morning just real knuckling down on making sure my legs feel better.
Got a couple more game questions for you before we go into the fun stuff.
Okay.
But Spain and Germany and France as well have obviously had statement wins themselves. This is a statement win on another level. And I know you've still got the game against Northern Ireland, first of all, and I will get to that. But you know you're probably going to face one of either Spain or Germany. How did you view their opening games?
I thought they were good. I thought both teams were really good. I feel like the game tonight is going to be so special. I've made sure that I'm booked in on the relaxation room to be able to watch that game on the main sofa. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really, really tough game. I actually can't call it. I genuinely don't know. I feel like in terms of us as England, you've got to be willing to face anyone. Got to beat the best to be the best, as they say. But yeah, obviously with me going over to Germany now at Bayern, I've kind of got a real connection with quite a lot of the Germany girls. So yeah, deep down I'm willing them to go as far as possible because obviously teammate to teammate, you want to see people achieve and go well.
Yeah, potentially meet them further down in the competition and maybe get Spain in the quarterfinals instead.
Yeah, that would be nice.
How much do you feel other teams are now going to be looking at England? They're always going to be looking at you as a huge threat, but now looking at you slightly differently, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Statistically, we're still ranked lower than quite a lot of teams that are in this competition. So maybe that can kind of do the talking as such. I feel like a lot of people have been impressed with us in terms of the Norway performance, but we also got the backlash off the Austria performance. So it's kind of trying to find that middle ground in not listening to the outside world, not listening to what people are saying, and just focusing on who we are, what we're here to do, what we want to achieve, and kind of just us really. So it's just being able to get that balance. We're kind of trying to ignore the outside and just crack on with what we're here to do, and that's enjoy playing football and hopefully achieve something at the end of it.
And you know that the questions are going to be, should players be rested or and do we rotate, or is momentum more important? What do you feel? I'm not asking you to give me the team selection, obviously, but what do you think's better, momentum or a bit of rest?
I actually don't know. This is like the first time that we've ever really had momentum in terms of previous managers have always changed teams or changed certain players. But yeah, I actually don't know. I couldn't answer it. I'm not the manager. But yeah, it's literally momentum versus freshness. This third game might give us an opportunity to kind of bring that freshness a little bit more, because obviously we've already qualified. We've kind of played Northern Ireland in previous games, so we know what we're up against. So maybe that gives us the opportunity to change things. Not change it because of we see them as a different opponent, but changing it in terms of what it takes to break down that opponent.
Yeah.
It might be something completely different. We expected a more direct way from Norway. Obviously, we didn't massively see that, but that was something that we were planning for. Whereas against Northern Ireland, it might be about us being patient, breaking it down with our passing. So it's two completely different oppositions, which might take two completely different teams.
Now I'm going to get myself in trouble because I've just thoroughly enjoyed our chat and not even looked at the clock once, so I know I'm going to get wrapped in a second, but I want to do a quick question on your journey, because just behind me, obviously, Furness Rovers was where it started for you. Yeah. How did you go from Furness Rovers to where you are sat in front of me now?
My parents. Literally, whenever this comes up, it's my parents. The sacrifice that they've given in order for me to be where I am is literally the reason why I'm here. As you can see on the map, countryside, middle of nowhere. You have to go around the world to get back to it. The nearest club to me was in Blackburn Rovers. That was like the girls' academy that I had to join, because at the time there was the girls v boys kind of debate going on. So yeah, when I hit the age of, I think it was 11 at the time, it was then time for me to part ways with Furness Rovers, and I'd absolutely loved my time there. I was literally playing there from the age of 3-4 years old. Parted there, ended up in a year out of football just because my parents couldn't commit to it. They wanted to know that I was really, really like into it. They wanted to know that they weren't going to waste the time. They wanted to know that everything that they was going to do would be worth it, basically. I had a year out of football. I think every day I talked about football. Every day I pestered my parents to take me. Every day I mentioned something. And my mum was like, right, well, I'll take you on a trial at Blackburn and we'll just see how you get on. I think my trial lasted half an hour and they wanted to sign the dotted line, and my mum was like, what have I done here? Like, regretting everything. We'll go home, Georgia. Like, we'll go home. They've said you've been naughty. Like, But no, the commitment that my parents give in driving me to Blackburn Rovers, it was 3 times a week, so that's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. That's without traffic, country lanes. So yeah, literally, that's the reason I'm here. And times like yesterday, when they're probably a nervous wreck when I'm lining up for that penalty. Probably a nervous wreck before the game, wishing me luck, telling me how do I feel and all this. I'm like, I'm fine, you need to relax. It's you the ones that are stressed. But no, they're the times that I look up. I see them with their Stanway shirts on, badge on the front, and yeah, just loving it.